Hello, friends. I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. Welcome to Sunrise Yin. Today, we're going to work on a sequence that focuses on the upper back, so thoracic spine, neck, and shoulders. What I think you'll need to be safe and to enjoy and get the most out of your practice today are a yoga mat and a blanket, such as I have set up behind me here. Now, the blanket's not strictly necessary. This is what I like. It works for me. It doesn't have to be what you do. But I find that a blanket folded in half and laid out across my mat such that the long edge of the folded blanket is perpendicular to the long edge of my mat gives me just a little bit of cushion between my body and the earth. I'd like you to have two yoga blocks. I'd like you to have a strap or a belt. And I'd like you to have a bolster. So pause your recording, roll out your mat, gather up your props. When you're ready, press play, and I'll meet you on your mat for Sunrise Yin. All right, so when we get started with the movement portion of the practice, we'll do so from tabletop primarily. Um, for now, for the reading, if there's some kind of a grounding position that would feel healing and organic to you, so maybe that's on your seat, maybe it's on your back, your belly, your side, as long as you're comfortable. So we're going to do a reading from chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita today. If you've not read this before, and if you haven't followed along with my readings over the last few months as we work through the first 10 chapters, this reading is super dark, but it's contextualized in the whole of the story. So this begins with our protagonist, Arjuna. Arjuna said, I see all gods in your body, in multitudes of beings, Lord, in Brahma on his lotus throne, in the seers, in the shining angels. I see you everywhere, with billions of arms, eyes, bellies, faces, without end, middle, or beginning. Your body, the whole universe, Lord, crowned, bearing mace and discus, you dazzle my vision, blazing in the measureless, massive, sun-flamed splendor of your radiant form. You are the deathless, the utmost goal of all knowledge, the world's base, the guardian of the eternal law, the primordial person. I see you beginningless, endless, infinite in power, with a billion arms, the sun and moon, your eyeballs, the flames of your mouth, igniting the whole universe with splendor. You alone fill all space. And the three worlds shudder when they see your astounding, terrifying form. Multitudes of gods approach you, palms joined in dread and wonder. Multitudes of sages chant to you hymns of deep adoration. The storm gods, the gods of light, of sky, dawn, and wind. The angels, the saints, the demigods, and demons all gaze at you in amazement. Your stupendous form, your billions of eyes, limbs, bellies, mouths, dreadful fangs. Seeing them, the worlds tremble, and so do I. As you touch the sky, many hued, gape mouthed, your huge eyes blazing, my innards tremble, my breath stops, my bones turn to jelly. Seeing your billion fanged mouths blaze like the fires of doomsday, I faint, I stagger, I despair. Have mercy on me, Lord Vishnu. All Dhritarashtra's men in all these multitudes of kings, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, with all our warriors behind them, are rushing headlong into your hideous, gaping, knife-fanged jaws. I see them with skulls crushed and their raw flesh stuck in your teeth. As the rivers and many torrents rush toward the ocean, all these warriors are pouring down into your blazing mouths. As moths rush into a flame, and are all burned in an instant. All beings plunge down your gullet and instantly are consumed. You gulp down all worlds everywhere, swallowing them in your flames. And your rays, Lord Vishnu, fill all the universe with dreadful radiance. Who are you in this terrifying form? Have mercy, Lord. Grant me even a glimmer of understanding to prop up my staggering mind. The blessed Lord said, I am death, shatterer of worlds, annihilating all things. With or without you, these warriors and their facing armies will die. Therefore, stand up, win glory, conquer the enemy, rule. Already I have struck them down. You are just my instrument, Arjuna. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great heroes have already been killed by me. Fight without hesitation. Kill them. Having heard Krishna's speech, Arjuna, his palms joined, shivering with terror, bowed to the Lord deeply and stammered these words. And we'll hear from Arjuna again next week. So I said we'd start a movement in tabletop, but actually let's do some work right from here. So if you're not in a seated position, make your way into a comfortable, sustainable seat. With stacked joints, float your head over your shoulders, over your hips. And then bring your hands out in front of you, join the tips of your fingers, the heels of your hands, and then to the degree that you can in your body. Now there's going to be a range of ability here, that's okay. Draw even your forearms and elbows together. So elbows just below shoulder level. And then on an inhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lift your fingers up toward the stars. Feel your rib cage lift and expand. Exhale, lower your elbows back to the starting position. This is hard for you. It's because it's hard. You're not doing anything wrong. Inhale, lift your elbows up. Sorry, your fingertips up. Exhale, come back to our starting position. And then one more time on an inhale, lift your fingertips up toward the stars. This time as you exhale, press them up even higher, as high as you can. Come back to your starting position. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale. And then as you exhale, release your right hand to your heart, release your gaze to your right. Open your right arm up as a bird deploys a wing. Inhale, come back to center, squeeze everything together. Exhale, left hand to your heart, gaze to the left, open your arm up to the left. Center, squeeze, open to the right. Center, squeeze, open to the left. Center, squeeze, right. Center, squeeze, left. Come back into center, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze everything together, about 3 breaths here. Your arms are shaking, my arms are shaking too. And then relax your arms, maybe shake them out for a second. Come into goalpost arms, make little fists. On an inhale, draw your shoulders blades together like you were pinching a broomstick. Lift your gaze, open your heart. And then as you exhale, draw fists, wrists, forearms, and elbows together. Release your chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. And then on your next inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Release your arms again. And then I'd like you to make your way into puppy dog pose. So starting from tabletop, maybe with your bolster close by, maybe with 2 blocks close by. From this table's top, start by floating your shoulders over your wrists, floating your hips over your knees. Walk your hands forward about 3 handprints. Turn your fingers out nice and wide. And then if you can, leave your hips floating over your knees. Lower your heart down either to the mat, or it might be better for you if it comes down onto a block or your bolster. So I mentioned 2 blocks. If you have them somewhere up close toward the top edge of your mat, I think that would be for the best position for them today. Just a comfortable, natural breath is fine. And just as a reminder, you guys are both experienced yin yoga practitioners, but we're looking for a threshold between discomfort and pain. So on a scale from 0 to 10, find a shape that gives you at least a 4, but not more than a 6. All right, friends, check in with your body. Notice your current level of sensation. And if you opened up with a bit of restraint and you've created some space in your body, if you wanted to add sensation, this is one of many options. Place blocks, shoulder width apart. Place your elbows on the blocks. Bring the palms of your hands together. Let your heart and your forehead fold down to the earth as you drop your thumbs in between your shoulder blades. So we're working through a thoracic spine sequence today. But I'm going to tell a lumbar spine story because I had a kind of an interesting experience and like continue to learn about myself. And so I had a pretty important lesson come up last week. As I think you guys both know, I started 2020 with pretty badly herniated discs in my lower back. And at the lowest point in the pain, I was at this work conference in San Antonio. And in order to get dressed for work, I had to lay on the floor of this hotel room. And I couldn't get comfortable. I was in pain for this whole work meeting. So every time I stood up, I'd get this fiery shooting pain from the inside of my left knee up into my groin and then up into my abdomen almost to the sternum. And then every time I sat down, I would get this sharp shooting pain like somebody was hammering an ice pick into my left butt cheek. And that pain would shoot all the way down to my left ankle. Right? I was scared. And I got this diagnosis from my medical team, and it wasn't great news. I'll tell you more about that when we move on to our next shape. So to come out of this, you can do this as you like, but the most gentle way I found, rock the crown of your head forward until the weight comes onto your forearms. Then walk your hands up under your shoulders and grab one block, make your way onto your right side. And find a right forearm plank with your right shoulder floating more or less over your right elbow. My right elbow is a little forward. That's okay. That's where we're going. Take the block, tuck it under your armpit. So we're not working serratus anterior today. I'm looking specifically for that armpit. And then bring your left hand down to the mat between your torso, between your chest, in that left hand edge of your mat. Walk your right elbow out to the front to the point that you can release the right hand side of your head and face into your right hand. Fashion model pose. Right, so the job of the left hand is to be the dial knob on sensation. So if you're getting too much, a couple of things. You can put a bend in the knees, right? That'll give you more surface area. That'll slightly reduce the sensation. The other tool is that left hand pressing into the mat or into the block to give yourself some lift. Right, but after the initial shock and parts of the rest of my world falling apart in 2020, I talked to my team of healers, and one of my healers, my dear friend Sophia, who's also my chiropractor, I talked to her about this injury and said, hey, like, what do you think is going to be possible for me with this? Because my mind immediately went to worst case scenario. So like, do you think it's possible that if I do everything that I'm asked to do and I'm smart, that I'll be able to briskly walk briskly, practice yoga, lift weights, and swim? And she said, I have seen far worse herniated discs where people had better outcomes than what you're describing. So yes, I think that's possible for you. All right, friends, check in with your body. Notice your current level of sensation. If you want more, release your right hand down to the mat between your torso and the left edge of your mat. Place your left hand on top of your right, and then release your forehead down to the back of your left hand. So I did this kind of pleading with the divine, right? And I don't know I think this is universal. I don't know what your experience was, but I found myself just almost begging, or really pleading. And so the message was something like, just give me brisk walking, yoga, weights, and swimming. That's all I want. Just give me brisk walking, yoga, weights, and swimming. If you give me that, I'll be happy. I promise. I won't ask for anything else. I won't, like pleading, like a child pleading to open a Christmas gift on Christmas Eve. And I did my part. I did my physical therapy. I was faithful and loyal to it. And I've been mostly pain free in my back for almost a year, which seems pretty miraculous. Now, the injury retired me from jujitsu, which stung. It was, in a lot of ways, it was really hard. I also, at the same time, I enrolled in my advanced yoga teacher training, and um, one of my teachers and trainers, Angelus too, actually, Dan had developed this anatomy approach called pranic joints. And one of the promises Dan had made is, you go through this year-long program, if you do your part, you will leave with your back stronger than it's ever been, which is a bold statement. It also turned out to be true. All right, friends, start to lift yourself up. So lift the forehead first, walk your hands up under your shoulders, remove the block. You can lower back down onto your right side, and then I'd like you to just roll over onto your left. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna kind of break dance over to the other side. Slide the block under your left armpit. Right hand comes down to the mat between your torso and the right edge of your mat. Walk your left elbow further out past the top edge of your mat. Release the left hand side of your head and face into your left elbow. So what I had thought, because I was pain free and my track record with my back pain has been so good, I was like, holy crap, this pranic joints approach and all the hard work that I did, I healed the herniated discs on my back. They're fine. Like I don't have any more pain. They're healed, which was super encouraging. And it made me think about what potentially I'd be able to do to people who come to me with back pain in yoga. And it was also super, super arrogant, right? So these jujitsu friends, a lot of them I'm still connected with. And so I watch pictures from their training, I watch videos of their competitions, and it makes me sometimes hungry to get back in there. And I've noticed I've started to get pretty greedy. And in particular, I have this friend, his name's Alex. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He'll have his black belt in another year, so he's been training for a long time. He's also a fight promoter. But he wants to open a movement gym in the next 2 or 3 years that's jiu-jitsu and yoga, and he wants to partner. He wants to open it with me. And so when we were talking about it, Alex said, yeah, like we could do this, we could do that. You could have yoga workshops. I could have jujitsu workshops. We could, work with each other's clients. So the fighters start to open their hearts through yoga, and the yoga practitioners develop great self-defense skills from jujitsu if they want. And I'll practice yoga with you. I'll train in yoga with you. You can train in jujitsu with me. All right, friends, if you want more sensation, release your left hand down to the mat. Right hand covers your left. Release your forehead to the back of your right hand. And this sounded so good to me, right? The picture in my head, God, it sounds so good. It's like, Alex, let me think about it. I'm nervous about my back, but let me think about it. So last week I taught a science of stretching class, and I cued for a pose because it was in this sequence, this hamstring sequence that we did, that's not smart for people with herniated discs in their lower back. But I thought at the time, fine for me, right? Because my herniated discs are healed. I healed them. And it was a long hold. It was like in the context of science of stretching and gravity yoga, not super long, but it was a 3-minute hold. But 3 minutes is a long time to hold a pose that's not good for you. And then the next day, from my hips, my hips and my legs hurt all day long. I went for my brisk walk, but it wasn't as brisk as usual. I just didn't have it in me. I almost didn't go. And I kept hurting worse and worse. And then I went to bed that night and I had this pain. I was like, ooh, this is familiar. This is nerve pain in my legs and my back. All right, friends, start to lift your forehead up first. Walk your hands under your shoulders. Lift up, remove your block, and make your way onto your belly. Find a Sphinx pose with a block probably at the highest height in between your wrists. Float your shoulders over your elbows. Soften everything from your low back down to the tips of your toes. So if your ankles roll to the inside or the outside, it's fine. If you are compelled to pull your heart forward, as I often am here, flip your palms up toward the stars. And then anything you don't need to keep your shoulders floating over your elbows, relax. So pay particular attention to the quality of the muscles and the muscular engagement in your belly. And if you find you're firm or you're gripping in your belly, see if you can over and over remind yourself to soften. Right, so nerve pain, which scared me. And I don't know if you've experienced that, like that kind of nerve pain, but my experience with it is you shift from this position to that position over and over again, trying to find something that's comfortable. And sometimes if you put a pillow in just the right spot, or you have your knees in just the right shape, you can get 2 or 3 minutes of comfort, long enough to fall asleep a little bit again until that position becomes painful too. And one of the ironies from this, there were many. Um, I had found a bottle of pills in the kitchen cabinet like 2 weeks before that I'd flushed down the toilet because I thought these were narcotic painkillers. And you guys both know my history. I'm a recovering addict, right? So those things scare me. I need these out of the house. I'm not pulled toward them, but I'm not going to tempt fate either. So I flushed them down the toilet. And then I looked them up. They were a nerve pain blocker. But they're gone, right? They're in the wastewater system now. So the physical therapy that I was given for my back and my hips, my perception was I was doing everything and I was doing it just about every day, probably 6 days a week. One of the things that I remember, there were parts of the physical therapy, especially for my back, that I kind of lightened up on. Not, and it wasn't that I wasn't doing them at all, but they were so often represented in my yoga practice. I thought, well, I'm good with that now. So I started adding those things back in the next day. In moving in a way that's smarter for someone with a history of herniated discs in their back. Check in with your body, notice your current level of sensation. If you've got everything you need, stay right here. If you've opened up space, turn your palms down, turn your fingers out wide, press into the heels of your hands, seal pose, maybe walking the heels of your hands closer in towards your waist. Now monitor that level of compression in the low back. Right? And if it gets above a 6, either walk the hands forward or come back to Sphinx. Monitor too, check in, notice, did you grip? Did you grip in the space between your shoulder blades, the flesh around your eyes, maybe your glutes? Right, so a couple of the things that were obvious to me from this experience is one is I have not healed the discs in my back, right? That's magical thinking. It's a beautiful thought, makes me feel really good, but it's patently false. And the kind of movement, the way that I've been using my body over the last year and a half, by and large, has really been working for me. As I said, most of the time I am pain free. So I need to keep doing that. But the other thing that I thought about, I made this bargain with the divine, sacred otherness of the universe. And when we make a bargain like that, it's just really clear to me that I need to continue doing my part. Maybe I get what I asked for, maybe I don't. But my part is my part. And the thing with divinity like that is we don't really understand what it is, any of us. Some people say they do, but I don't think anybody really knows. So until I know when I make a promise like that, just give me brisk walking, weightlifting, yoga, and swimming. Just give me those. I won't ask for anything else. Then I need to stick and do my part and stick to that. Right? That child that's granted the wish to open up a Christmas present on Christmas, um, like most of the time, we as humans, when we're human children, we don't stick to that promise, right? We open up the Christmas gift on Christmas Eve and then we want something else 2 hours later or 5 minutes later. Come down into Sphinx pose. Lower your block down to the lowest height. Slide your left hand forward, create a big generous space under your left elbow. Wrap your right arm under your chest, right palm facing the sky. Walk your left arm over your right. If you've got all the sensation you could possibly want right here, stay right here. Otherwise, walk, walk, walk the fingers of each hand out in opposite directions. Check in again. If you're in that range of 4 to 6, you're probably fine. If you've got more space, tuck the toes under your feet. Rock the crown of your head forward. So the reason that I say that is that's not a dig on children, right? I think that's part of the human condition. Is that humility usually is learned, and we learn it through experience, which often comes in the form of pain. So this is a really great lesson for me this week. All right, check in and notice, are you gripping anywhere? Are you gripping in the glutes? Are you pressing your forehead aggressively down onto the block? If you can just release any muscular engagement, let all the soft tissues fall toward the earth. All right, friends, if you rock the crown of your head forward, tuck your toes under your feet, draw your heels back behind you, unwind your arms, come back into Sphinx, and then slide the palm of your right hand forward, draw your left arm under your chest, palm faces the sky, right arm over your left. Check in with your body and either stay here or walk the fingers out in opposite directions. And then for even more sensation, rock the crown of your head forward. As always, friends, if your body's asking for more sensation, you can grant that sensation just by tucking your toes under your feet and rocking the crown of your head further forward. Tuck your toes under your feet. Walk the crown of your head back behind you. Unwind your arms. You set the block aside for now. Lower your heart down to the earth. And then bring your hands under your shoulders. Press up into tabletop. And I'd like you to have a block. And if you have a strap, grab a strap. If you don't have a strap, no problem. Now from this tabletop, slide your right knee forward and then angle your right heel over toward the left side of your body. Wrap your left knee over your right. And then place a block up under your seat. Ooh, if that's okay for your body, sit down into this shoelace pose. Or vinyasa, we might call this cow face pose. For more sensation, I'm fired up here. I'm at a 7, so I'm not going to change anything. But you could walk your heels forward toward the top edge of your mat. If this shoelace is no good, the other option is square pose. Right shin parallel to the top edge of the mat. Hook the pinky edge blade of your left foot on the outside of your right thigh. But take a look in between your legs. Keep checking periodically. If you choose square pose, that right heel is going to want to continue to cant in towards your groin. I'd like you to maintain a triangle shape. But otherwise, left knee wraps over your right. Sit back into shoelace. And then take your left hand, place it in between your shoulder blades. If you have a strap, you can take the strap in your left hand. Bring your right hand to your lower back, find the strap, and then walk your left hand up the strap until you get to that level of 6. You can, or right hand up the strap. Walk your left hand further down your spinal column. Right, and this is not a really conventional yin cue because this involves some muscular engagement. But from an alignment standpoint, I think it's solid. Press the back of your head into your left arm. And if you can, stack the joints. Float your head over your shoulders, over your hips. Right, so you might be getting a lot of sensation here, and it might be hard to manage it at a level of 6 or higher, as long as, or 6 or lower. As long as it's okay for you, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. But let me give you another breath to practice with. This is going to be a 4-8 autonomic nervous system down-regulating breath. Right, so it will be a 4-count inhale through your nose, followed by an 8-count exhale through your mouth, making a ha sound. So if you want to try this, inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth with that ha sound. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If that is helpful, you can maintain that breath. Check in with your body. If your body wants more sensation, maybe in the deep six lateral hip rotators, you can work your ankles closer up toward the top edge of your mat. If your body wants more in the shoulders, you could either slide the back of your right hand higher up the strap or drop your left hand further down in between your shoulder blades. If you have a strap, release the strap with your right hand, lower your right hand to your lower back. You can drop the strap from your left hand. And then to come out of this, you can come out how you like. What I find to be fairly gentle, is to rock forward and then unwind my legs. Now, my left leg is already more or less oriented where I like it. Wrap your right knee over your left, block maybe up under your seat. If you don't need the block under your seat, you can remove the block, no problem. And remember, if this is no good for you, find that square post. If you have a strap in your right hand, reach your right arm up over your head, drop your right hand in between your shoulder blades. So right elbow points up toward the stars, back of your left hand to your low back, find the strap, walk your hands up. Now, I didn't cue for this before because the idea is so alien to my body. But if you can stay in a range between 4 and 6 and take a full bind, interlace the fingers of the hands, no strap, that's amazing. So go for that. Once again, at least initially press the back of your head into that right arm. If your body wants more, right, you can walk your heels closer toward the top edge of the mat. You can slide your right hand further down your spinal column, or you can walk your left hand higher up the strap. Just a comfortable natural breath or that 4-8 down regulating breath, whatever speaks to your body now. That 4-8 breath, just one word of caution to tell you about this. Early in the day, to using it early in the day, it can make you really sleepy, right? So it's a great evening breath, and it can be a good morning breath. It just depends on what you're optimizing for. What do you want to get out of that breath in the day? Like, if this didn't come through clearly in my story, I should also say I am super, super grateful to be able to walk briskly, lift weights, practice yoga, and swim. Right? I lose my focus. I get greedy sometimes. Again, I think that's part of the human condition. I know it happens to me. But I remember as a young man once, somebody saying something to me like, well, at least you're healthy. And I kind of rolled my eyes. I think until you know what really unhealthy feels like, it's hard to wrap your head around what a blessing it is for us just to feel healthy. All right, friends, slide your left hand back down to your lower back. If you've chosen the strap, release the strap. Maybe shake your arms out. Unwind your legs. And then grab one or two blocks. Bring your knees more or less together, maybe an inch or two apart. Place two blocks at the lowest height. Let me demo this from the side first. One on top of the other in between your heels. And then sit back on the blocks. Right, and this may be fine. Like monitor what you're getting for sensation in the quads here, maybe in the rectus femoris as well. If you have space, reach back, remove a block. Ooh, that's going to be home for me today. If you had more space, you could reach back and remove the block. But lots going on here, not just the quads, but the ankles as well. And then reach your right hand up. Place the palm of your right hand on the crown of your head with your right elbow pointing forward. And then use that hand to just gently draw your chin down towards your right shoulder. Where we're looking for a sensation of stretch is on the back, left hand side of the neck, levator scapulae and upper trapezius. All right, friends, use your right hand, draw the crown of your head back up to neutral. You can release your right hand, and we're just going to change sides. Take the palm of your left hand, place it on the crown of your head. Left elbow points forward for now. Find length, press down into your seat, lengthen out of the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, use your left hand to draw your chin down towards your left shoulder. friends, draw the crown of your head back up the center. You can release your left arm. And then we're going to move into either restorative fish or a heart bench. So maybe starting with a restorative fish. Take your bolster, lay it out on your mat so the long edge of the bolster is parallel to the long edge of your mat. Maybe place a block up close to the top end of this. Now, this is not where I'm going to live, but I'm going to start here. Have lumbar spine start on that bolster. Lay back, tee your arms out to the side, and you can do what you like with your legs. You can keep a bend in your knees, soles of your feet on the earth. You can go with butterfly legs. You can lengthen your legs long. So that's one option. Option two, the heart bench. We replace the bolster with a second block. So one block at the medium height, such that the long edge of the block is parallel to the long edge of your mat. A second block could be at any height. From my neck, it needs to be at the highest height. What is that? 4 or 5 inches past that. Now, with this block, the landmark's a little bit different. So, bottom of the rib cage, bra strap level, lays down onto that block, folds your whole spine down to your arms out to the side. All right, we're going to transition into one more yin shape before our final rest. And the last yin shape could out to be your final rest. So transitionally from here, I don't know that there's a graceful way to get out of this. If there is, I haven't found it. But there is a safe way, and the safe way would involve just rolling off to the side. And then hands under your shoulders, press yourself up, place your blocks. They could be at the lowest or the medium height. I recommend starting at the lowest height. Shoulder width apart, close-ish to the top edge of your mat. I've left myself, about 14 inches of space beyond my blocks. Come down onto your belly, place the tops of your shoulders close to the top edge of the blocks. You may need to adjust them a little bit. Bring your hands down by your waist, palms facing upward, and you can release your forehead or either cheek down onto your mat. And then see if you can just soften and relax. Let gravity draw all your soft tissues down toward earth. If you need more sensation, flip your blocks up to the medium height. Check in again with your body. Notice if you're gripping maybe in the glutes, maybe the rhomboids, the space between your shoulder blades. Maybe it's your jaw. And notice it with curiosity and kindness. And then maybe choose to release that muscular engagement. Check in with the organism of your body and just ask what she wants, what she needs this morning. And if you're getting what you need right here, this could be a fine final resting shape. But if your body wants something else, you can transition into any other resting shape on your seat, your belly, your back, or your side, as long as you can balance the two qualities of relaxation and alertness. Check in with the organism of your body again. Ask what she wants. And if what she wants is more rest, I would stay right in your final resting shape. I wouldn't change a thing. Ignore every other cue. But if the organism of your body wants movement, start with some deeper breaths. And then if your body calls for it, start to reanimate your body with small movements. This might look like wiggling your fingers or your toes. Or maybe just larger movements now, rotating your hands at the wrists, your feet at the ankles, or taking a full body stretch. Now, a full body stretch in your belly, what that might look like is swimming your arms forward, coming up onto the tips of your fingers like you're protecting the most precious cupcakes ever. Tuck your toes under your feet. Use your fingertips. Pull the upper part of your spine toward the top edge of your mat. With your toes tucked, press your heels toward the back edge of your mat. And then however you want to get there, use good body mechanics. Make your way into a fetal position. And I'd like you to check in with yourself on two things. Notice what's the quality of your physical body now post-practice. In particular, we really focus today on upper back, shoulders, and neck. So just check in and notice if you were able to create a little bit of space for yourself in the work that you did. But check in too. Notice what is the quality of your nervous system now post-practice. And then press yourself up into any seated position, any soft eyes, open with a soft gaze or gently closed. You can do anything you like with your hands. Thank you once again, friends, for trusting me to guide you through your practice, to trust me with your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I'm grateful, as always, for the opportunity to move and breathe with you. If you're inclined, draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows. Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for this morning. Great job, friend. Again, my name's Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. And thank you for joining us for our Sunrise Yin upper back sequence. You're doing amazing. Keep going.